My dream, madam, I want to have like Jim Thompson in Bandung.
Jim Thompson type.
The Jim Thompson type. Problem is we can produce, but most of us cannot sell. So creativity and business need to be balanced, right?
Yes.
So I'm very proud in the creative culture. I, as a mayor, now exercising a proactive government. So I fly many places to introduce Bandung.
Yes.
At the end, people will understand Bandung not only as a city but also as representing of contemporary culture of Indonesia. Next.
It's excellent.
This is our traditional food. Yeah.
I must say that your food is wonderful.
Yes.
Which is the place we went at lunch yesterday?
The hapati.
Yeah, the hapati is also
Hapati is wonderful.
This one
Oxtail soup.
is my opportunity, also my problem.
Yes.
I have 6 million tourists coming, mostly by car. So I'm happy that we will have a high-speed train, which will be finished in 3 years, to connect Bandung Jakarta only 30 minutes by train. So by having that, we can shift this car-oriented into next. This is our economy. Next.
One that's graph.
But basically, we are performing better than national statistic. Next. Now this is my mind. I call it mind mapping. So what's in my head? So I said to make Bandung, we will have a culture of innovation, social innovation, technology innovation, design innovation. We will have collaboration because we know our limits. So I talk a lot with the businesses, academics, creative. And also I decentralize power, Mr. Ambassador. I learned
So
my
you don't keep it all in your own hands. You delegate.
I already give away 30 powers that usually belong to the mayor, now belong to head of district. The head of district can make decision without too much consulting to me, which is in the previous culture is all
Never do. Always
up to
centralized.
the mayor, which is slowing the process. Okay. So I go to the basic. I signed the first anti-corruption system with KPK, and so far so good. Next. We are preparing also the human rights law
Yes.
to be the first in Indonesia to have the human rights as a written law. Now human right is spoken law, but never written. So Bandung pushing the agenda further to push this human rights issue into a written law. Okay, next. This is my theory of collaboration with my people, business, academia, institution, community. This is my people. So Bandung known for the strength is social capital, madam. For example, I asked for Asia Africa conference,
Yes.
for volunteer for 3,000. They register 15,000.
They wanted to help.
They wanted to have.
Everyone.
So this is part of in our.
Which is very nice to have.
Which is good.
Yes.
So now I channel their energy of doing volunteerism
To do other things.
to do whatever.
Other good for the
So I'm
community.
very happy to do it. So
That's great.
next, with military also. Bandung is the city of military, so while they're not at war, so I said let's fix the city. So they help us in cleaning up cities. Next. Bandung also exercising a new concept called happiness projects, because I believe advanced society at the end is a happy society.
True.
Maybe we are not as rich as advanced or developed country, but when it comes to happiness, we are very proud that this year we scored very high in happiness. So I can claim we are the happiest society of Indonesia.
Well, you can't buy happiness. So even if you're very rich, it doesn't guarantee happiness at all.
Next. So we create a creative center in the slum area. creating a space for farming. We are very proud also to be the most advanced urban farming culture in Indonesia, because before I become a mayor, I was a founder of Indonesian urban farming in 40 cities. As a mayor now, I make it mandatory to 1,500 neighborhood units. Whenever they have empty land or empty vertical wall, we make it garden and farming. Next. This is part of Happiness Project, asking the head of district to watch movie once a week. I visited the poorest family in the city once a week also, bring dinner and solving their problems, just to give a gesture while we're building a really better society, a social gesture. I show to them that now as a leader, we are very close. We are not.
Yeah. So you're breaking down the barriers.
So I'm very active in social
Okay.
media.
Yes.
In my YouTube. My YouTube reaches 20 million people per month.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
I have a follower in Twitter, 1.2 million. This is part of me communicating to my
Yes.
people that as a mayor, I'm no different with you. I'm just busier.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's not distant.
Rich or something like that.
Do you use Facebook page as well?
Yeah.
Or
I mean,
every type of media?
We change also the culture because Indonesian believe in days. So Monday is no rice day. Tuesday no smoking day. Wednesday Sundanese day.
Like it.
Yes.
Thursday is English day because I need my people to master English
Yes.
as a competitive age, and Friday is a
Back to work day. Lovely.
Okay. This is Wednesday. So if you come to Bandung on Wednesday, I wear this
The
attire,
Sudanese.
So the ambassador of America, Bob Blake,
Oh,
came
Bob Blake, yes.
Wednesday.
And he
so
dressed up in Sudanese.
I gave
Good.
the headscarf was Sudanese.
Did you get him to sing as well?
Next.
He's a good character.
This Friday next festival. This is volunteerism, pick up the trash day every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Terus aja. Now I also the last 2 years transform more than 12 abandoned space into public space. Yeah. So this is under the highway.
Yes.
I creating interaction park. Next.
So utilizing all these spaces.
Yeah.
Public
If you came to Bandung last year, none of what you saw in the what you see here exists. It was dark. It was hardscape. It was fans. Nobody come. If you ask young people in Bandung whether they visit the city square, 100% chance they never come. But last January I opened, I make it open to public. So now
open space,
the
allow
the busiest spot in the city is the city square,
I see.
which is, and this photo I took myself.
Okay.
I love photography. So.
I see.
This is under the highway. We have a movie park, so my people watch movie for free every day, and it was shaded because it's under the highway, so it's perfect setting.
Yes.
Many young smart people now looking for ICT projects. So I believe as a government, my job is to provide space, and let the energy from my people to meet. So I bring this creative hub for my young people to meet. In the other hand, we are preparing the long-term infrastructure projects. We are building high sky bridge,
Sky bridge, yes.
cable car.
Yes.
Monorail also under the beat, skywalk.
On top, yes.
Yeah. Next year, this smart bike shares.
Yes.
This one is finished.
Yes, I saw that being advertised
Yeah.
on the bus.
Last part is, this is my vision, using smart city to make it a better bureaucracy, from manual to technology, from costly decision to more efficient, from inaccessible data to open, from top down now participatory, from slow service to faster service, from corrupt by situation to clean by design. Okay. Terus aja agak cepat. Nice comment center, Wi-Fi everywhere, teaching the people for internet. Smart card is now prepared with BI. Apps for managing cities, making open data. My department discuss the work with my people through Twitter, so they report by photo.
So people can comment and provide feedback.
Yeah. This one is very interesting. You can score your bureaucracy.
Yes.
So if you're not happy with the performance of your head of district, you go to this website and you score each of the service, and we recap once a month. So I think that's what's happening so far in the last 2 years, and the biggest achievement for us is next month. Next month we will be awarded the best performing bureaucracy
In Indonesia.
in Indonesia after 2 years, from the lowest rank to the #1 rank. It's not easy, but this is to show a story that people can see.
But you were just following the example of your wonderful football team,
Yeah,
as well as becoming #1.
I think
winning the president.
the spirit of excellence
Yes.
now transform my people to work better, to work harder, to work more to technology. And I believe also in the future Bandung can play a vital role representing Indonesia. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you want to engage with Indonesian people, use Bandung. Let's talk beyond Jakarta. Bandung is the closest metropolis, a better city, more livable. People are happier also here.
I'd love to move my embassy here. Actually, not the capital yet.
Yeah. Now with the thinking of high-speed trains, people are thinking to move to Bandung.
Why not and commute?
Walk in Jakarta and 6 p.m. already in Bandung, walking the walkable city, having dinner.
It'll be
It's
less
already in
than
the
commuting.
imagination of many people now.
I think so. You know, thank you very much for your description, Mr. Mayor. I applaud you for what you have achieved and what you're about to achieve in the rest of your term as mayor. What you have shown me is not just indicative, but is one of the key reasons why I wanted to nominate you for the Prime Minister's Fellowship in New
the one
Zealand.
that you talked,
Exactly, and it's because of this great enthusiasm, this ability that you've brought to make Bandung the city it is, and it resonates with what we're trying to achieve in New Zealand as a small country. Your population, you double that. That's New Zealand. We're
So I'm
less than
running
5 million.
I'm running half of New Zealand.
Yes, more than half of New Zealand. But as I joked to President Jokowi, it's not about quality. It's quality, not quantity. That we pride ourselves on the knowledge-based society we have. And while everyone knows New Zealand for its beauty and the fact that we produce wonderful sports team as well, like the All Blacks, and we do great,
that's very famous.
great agri-food business, and we do the haka, and we do Maori culture. We're proud of all those. But what we've been able to do in the last 20 years is to become a truly knowledge-based society, where our universities are all ranked in the top 500 in the world, where our creative instincts across the board through the production of Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, Avatar 2 will be made in New Zealand. All of this is, globalization has made a very remote country like New Zealand an able participant. It's enabled even a bright young New Zealand graduate, whether he's an architect or whether he's a software developer, be able to still live in New Zealand, but be able to participate in the World Centre. And that's what will happen here as well, and that's what you are trying to achieve, and what we'd love to see as well. That Indonesians can stay home, get the international experience, but take their talents to the world stage. And if you have a branding that is Bandung that goes with it, then that will achieve a lot too. I wanted to mention to you that when I spoke to you last time about the award, my Prime Minister now has formally approved the submission. So he's approved your nomination as the first recipient of the Prime Minister's Fellowship with Indonesia. And with your approval, he will make an announcement next month in Kuala Lumpur on the 22nd of November. The 40th anniversary of New Zealand-ASEAN relationships will be celebrated with ASEAN leaders and my Prime Minister in Kuala Lumpur. So the announcement will formally be made that you will be our inaugural recipient of that fellowship. A letter will come from the Prime Minister to congratulate you, and in the next few months we will talk about the possibility for you to visit New Zealand next year for up to 1 week to try to take forward all these ideas. Smart cities is one we're very interested in. A lot of New Zealand cities are doing that. Creativity, your ideas on youth and how that will be taken forward. How branding cities and branding New Zealand, we've been able to use our creative knowledge to brand New Zealand so successfully that New Zealand's now regarded as the one city that people want to come to because they want to see where Lord of the Rings was filmed, where all this creative talents is coming.
How powerful one film, yeah, changed the landscape of.
Yeah, and someone having that vision
branding.
though, and that's why my Prime Minister decided that he's not just the Prime Minister, he's Minister of Tourism. And he was creative enough to see that you link these all together and take the brand and promote New Zealand and tourism. That yes, people will remember the All Blacks, they remember haka, they remember all those New Zealand dairy products and apples and kiwi fruit. But suddenly they now relate it to a land where Middle Earth, and that's led to more phenomenal success for us. And we, as a small country in a rapidly globalizing world, we are not like the Americans, like Bob Blake. They have so much money, they have so much influence. We have no hard power at all in New Zealand. We can't influence anyone except for our soft power, and we have a little bit of soft power. But what we try to do is use our intelligence on that soft power to make it matter, so that people sort of will respect us, so they will invite us to the table because we have something to offer. And that's all we can do with only 5 million people. Although 40 million sheep helps a little bit, and 10 million cattle, but it's trying to use what resources we have to our best effect. And we're not, unfortunately, not like Singapore, right next door to vast major countries like Indonesia or China. But we've got to be a little bit more astute at the bottom of the world. We're almost the last stop in the world. There's nothing else after New Zealand. When you get to New Zealand,
So how
South America is 10,000 kilometers away.
How to fly to New Zealand from Jakarta?
Unfortunately, there are no direct flights. We're still trying to work. Until 2005, Garuda flew to New Zealand. But normally we fly to Australia, to Sydney or Melbourne, on to New Zealand. Or you fly Air New Zealand and Singapore Airlines are part of Star Alliance. So
or you go
fly
to Singapore
and you fly direct.
Maybe that's better. Because Bandung is easier. Go to Singapore. It's
Yes.
better.
Air Asia. Do you have Silk Air?
Silk Air.
Silk Air. Yes. And so that would be the easiest for you to fly to New Zealand is to do that.
And as a mayor in Bandung, they wait for me last 5 minutes. I privilege Bandung Airport. Yeah.
Before your arrival, we were just talking about when it would be the best time for you to travel to New Zealand. I said this is something for you to decide.
Yeah.
You know your calendar for the year, your commitments. It's a question of whether you I would suggest you avoid, unless you love snow and in the South Island climbing mountains and going up onto snow, not to go in the middle of winter in New Zealand. And of course,
when
we have
is
to make
your-
certain
when
the
is
Prime
your
Minister's
winter?
there. Our winter is essentially from June, July, August.
Middle.
Middle of
It's
the
the
year.
opposite of.
It's the opposite of the Northern
Maybe
Hemisphere.
it's not.
So when Northern
So-
Hemisphere is having Christmas and snow, we
February.
have barbecue.
What happened in February?
February is a beautiful month for us.
Oh,
Our parliament also starts the year. So New Zealand,
February.
if that's a good time for you, it's a good time for us.
Uh,
And we would want you
after
to...
this Prime Minister fellowship,
Hmm.
what kind of obligation should I?
There is
engage?
no obligation for you.
Oh.
It's not about something that you have to endorse New Zealand at all. It's about, again a soft way of
It's
trying to
recognition.
recognize what you're doing here. We hope to learn as much as you learn from New Zealand. So our people would want to learn what you're trying to do with Bangtung, how you've been successful, what makes you tick, and what helps. And our hope is that you will be inspired with what you see, and our people will be inspired as well, so that we have an interchange of people coming through here. If you wanted to explore sister city relationships, that's something you can also look at. If you want to see things that you like in New Zealand that might be applied here, then that's something that we can, as an embassy, then try to facilitate, follow up.
Yeah.
So that it's a no strings attached
Okay, good.
as of so.
I think first of all, I'm very honored to receive this fellowship. Second, I think I can be a very vital role in also representing the new face of Indonesia. What I said, but the new face, it means in the next 10 to 20 years, my generation will be more or less ruling Indonesia.
Yes.
Very true.
So when that happens, I want to invest that we are a changing nations. We are more open-minded. We are the biggest Muslim country, but we are not Islamic State, for example. We are very moderate, open-minded people, and we are forward-thinking also. So this is also good in terms of long-term relationship between New Zealand and Indonesia. And at the other hand, also I want to show your people, your government that it can be very helpful using Bandung as a gateway for whatever you need. Because the most expensive thing is political will.
Yes.
So when I'm giving my political will, it means it's like a door for doing whatever, right? So I'm showing that also to
I would encourage you to do that. Most New Zealanders don't really understand or know much about Indonesia. And what they do know and understand, apart from Bali, is not a very positive message. I say that because I've met at least 3 groups of New Zealand university students who have traveled through to Indonesia this year. And when I start my lecture to them and talk to them, I say, okay, before I start, write down 3 things that comes instantly to your mind about Indonesia. And they write 3 things down, and I say, okay, what did you write over there? And sometimes they shock me. They say bombing, or they say Islamic terror, or they say fires, forest fires, or environmental degradation. In their minds, they see what they see on television, unfortunately, and start to believe that what they see on television about violence, about Muslim conflict in the Islamic world, and they associate then with Indonesia, and they have no idea what the real reality is. And I say, well, that's interesting that you say all this, but I can tell you that all those thoughts that you have in your country are outdated. This country has moved on a lot from that. 4th most largest country in the world, the most Muslim country in the world, the 3rd because of democracy in the world,
Yeah.
all of these factors. So I think if you're a
Yeah, I think
A diplomat for-
I think I can. I'm very open to play that role.
so we will give you opportunities.
Next
we
year
hope to
also
do that.
I am in. I will be invited by European Union in Belgium. Also, one of the agendas I'm discussing about Islam also,
Yes.
because Islam may be born in Middle East, but the future of Islam will be Indonesia. Why? Because we are majority.
Mm.
You combine the number of Muslims in Middle East, still being outnumbered by us.
Fraction.
So talk to the majority, but we are being too humble so far. So I'm saying to my generation, looks, we cannot be too humble for too many times. We have to speak to the world. We can influence the world. We can change the perception of who we are. So in that kind of mindset, I can representing this new generation of Indonesia leaders to say to the world. That's why I might use my opportunity to New Zealand for discussing this. So if you can arrange me lecturing at the university, for example, yeah, that would be also good. I can, if possible, in the future, I can bring my cultural team to do something in New Zealand, or maybe opening Little Bandung like what we are doing
Exactly.
in other cities.
Yes. Well, you know, the Auckland University, which is our top university and the place where most Indonesian students study in New Zealand, that would be my suggestion.
Which university?
The University of Auckland,
Oh, yeah.
which is our largest city. It's a melting pot of Polynesian
Because where there is
people.
direct flight to Singapore.
That's the direct flight to Singapore, and also a direct flight to Christchurch, which is the other city I think you should visit, as well as because of the reconstruction work and the ideas they're building there to be an innovative, a city for the 21st century. And also the architectural challenges of just, you have a completely new landscape. What should you build and how should that be for a country which is earthquake prone? What I'd like to do, if with your approval, Mr. Mayor, is to work with your staff and get ideas as to what sort of things you would like to do.
Okay.
So we can try to develop a program for February that fits around that, your creative instincts. Obviously we need a time when the Prime Minister is there,
Okay.
so that he can receive you. But also, particularly in Wellington in February, the possibility of calling on Sir Peter Jackson and the Weta Studios, the people who created.
He reside there?
That's his home.
Oh, this is.
And all the film sets and everything that was done for Weta, for the Lord of the Rings, also for The Hobbit, and now for Avatar 2 is in Wellington at his studios, Weta Studios. So
Oh,
it'll be
Avatar
great.
2 is by Peter Jackson.
Yes, even Avatar, the first one, all the digital work was done in New Zealand.
Oh.
So along with his good close friend is Cameron, the Canadian, who's now become a New Zealand citizen.
Oh.
He's come to
James
live.
Cameron?
James Cameron's come to live next to Peter Jackson, so they can share ideas. He will spend 6 months in New Zealand, 6 months in Canada doing things. But again, it shows that you don't have to be in Hollywood doing all these things. You can be somewhere in a small, remote place. And I shocked even the Japanese ambassador the other day. He kept going on about the wonderful, from The Last Samurai. And he said, what a wonderful film showing Japan. And I explained to him it was actually done in New Zealand, The Last Samurai.
I didn't know.
They used the New Zealand volcano, Mount Taranaki, to make it look like Mount Fujiyama. But it was all done. Tom Cruise came to live in New Zealand to do it. And so I said,
Even the Japanese ambassador.
no, because he just thought that Last Samurai, because he said it's one of his favorite films. But he thought it's done in Japan. But I said, I'm sorry to, but the next world-class film could be made in Bandung. In one of your initiatives is some brilliant students here at ITB or some of the other areas with the right sort of.
Coba puterin
You can
itu,
do that.
Technopolis.
Because you have so many universities, are world class here.
I'm building the new town
Mm.
in the east of Bandung as my new vision to bring a global economy to Indonesia. Maybe you can convey this message to New Zealand company.
Yes.
We have now 60 million middle class in Indonesia, right? Who can buy iPad once every 2 years. They
60 million?
60 million.
But
They can buy iPad, buy iPhone. 60 million middle class from 250 million. Okay, in 15 years, this middle class will be double to 100 million. So that's very huge as a market. So if a New Zealand company wants to tap this 100 million middle class, my saying is use Bandung as your home base. Why? Because I'm providing the old city to be more heritage city like this.
Yes, it's
But
beautiful.
also, but also if you want to have a new city, we will have it in Technopolis. Why? We have high quality engineers also, and the culture of creativity, one of the creative city in Indonesia. We produce animation also, things like that. And this city will be built in the next, it will be finished in 5 to 10 years from now. The basic infrastructure is underway in the east of Bandung. And the high-speed train that connecting Jakarta. Also, the station will be ending at the Bandung Technopolis. So, if you come to Indonesia 2018, you want to go to Bandung, you take the train from Gambir and you stop here in my new town. This is my new visions of live, work and play for high-tech industry and business. So what I'm saying is if there is a New Zealand company doing ICT business wants to tap to Indonesian market, I recommend to open the office or laboratory or workshop in this area.
We have several companies already there. We had my Minister of Trade visit Indonesia last week. We had
High-speed
meetings
train
with
station.
the governor of Jakarta and also with some of the other Lipo group and others. Some are involved in IT work for hospitals and medical areas. So I will let them know about this.
Yeah.
They probably don't know of this.
Because this Bandung Technopolis is seated at the toll road.
Yes.
So you don't have to go to the old city of Bandung.
Yes.
You just go direct from by car from Jakarta,
And you just bypass.
exit directly to
Yes.
the Technopolis
Okay.
or high-speed train also stop there.
So we need to give
Video
you.
itu lagi? Alun-alun.
So we need to give you an opportunity in New Zealand to present what
I
you
think
have
so.
these issues to.
Give me
to
the
chambers of
opportunity to
commerce
discuss with
and-
your business chambers.
We have an ASEAN New Zealand Business Council as well, including the Indonesia New Zealand Business Council. So we can work with them to set up those opportunities and media for you.
This is video during opening of my city square. So I upgraded more than 10 city parks. So over the Bandung people are happy.
I think my wife will be very happy moving to Bandung with the residents and get me to commute every day. And she can stay here.
Maybe you can live in one of the mountain nearby. Only 10 minutes to the city center. That's why the reason the Dutch colonial invented the Bandung city.
Yes.
Because the weather is perfect.
It is perfect. It's went to a stroll last night, and it was just a
So
lovely
you're staying
climate.
over last night?
We were at the Hilton Hotel, just for one night. We just came one night.
You walked the city center area?
Last time I went to the city center when
Gedung
I came
Merdeka.
for the Africa.
Yeah, that area would be the most recommended walkable area.
Beautiful architecture and the historical architecture, and now the blending of that architecture with modern. My only worry is that can the Bandung do without you for 1 week? When you go to New Zealand,
To
Oh,
go
we
to
have a
New
good system.
Zealand.
or you'll be able to catch up
Okay,
by
I-
IT.
The whole command center is now under my item, so I can control the whole system wherever.
I see.
Oh.
That's I already transformed the system,
Fantastic.
so I can communicate. I can, in the future, I can turn off this whole city light from New Zealand.
Do you think
Amazing.
rugby will take on here in Bandung?
Who?
Rugby.
Let's try.
Let's
Because
try.
it's not popular yet,
No,
but Bandung people are open-minded society.
not popular with Southeast Asian people. Japanese now play rugby. They were in the World Cup, but just that last night New Zealand qualified. This weekend New Zealand qualified for the World Cup final again against Australia. So, but,
Yeah, so you saw all the transformations.
thank
and
you very much.
This transformation is really reflecting our optimism about Indonesia, because I always tell everybody that Bandung in a way is like a small Indonesia. So whatever happened in Bandung reflected the issue at Indonesia.
So you're a microcosm of what
That's why
the health of
whenever I do something with my people, it's already in the news of national Metro TV.
Yes.
Or,
Yeah.
so it means this is now
Represent.
under the national media coverage.
Well, thank you very much for giving us this time. What I would like to do is that I will follow up and I will tell my Prime Minister that you very kindly accepted the fellowship. He can go ahead, include your name in the announcement on the 22nd of November. And a letter, we should have a letter to you in the next 2 weeks from the Prime Minister.
Thank you for the recommendation and the awards.
And once again, my apology for nominating you without talking to you first.
As long as it's good news, is we have something for you.
Oh, thank you.
Number one is this is a play our culture.
Thank you very much.
Beautiful. Last one is
Oh.
is our double decker. It's my design for the stick bus. The map of Bandung. And this is for
Well, I will proudly put this on my desk.
Oh, thumbs up too.
thumbs up.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. We just have a very small little gift for you as well. These are some
Small
cufflinks from
instrument.
New Zealand,
Ah,
which
okay,
are just
okay.
for the
Yes.
shirt, for your shirt. So when you visit New Zealand, if you are going to wear some shirts,
Okay.
you can wear those.
I keep in mind.
And then next time I'll bring you a rugby jersey.
All black.
Yes, it'll have to be all black with Besar, or maybe the blue and white as well. You know the colours of our major team in Auckland, our city, are blue and white.
You know what?
Almost the same colours.
I've been traveling all my life, more than 150 world cities. I've never been to New Zealand. So
But you leave the
I
best.
already become a mayor, so it's not very easy for me just to travel. But that's why I keep thinking. And now you come and bring this good news. So my
Maybe
wish
you're
is-
leaving the best to last. But one thing you can tell me then, I see for a person
What
blue and white, you have It's called the Vikings, but why Vikings? What is the link to Vikings and Bandung?
You have to understand.
Yes. Or it's just
Bandung
Bandung.
is very, like I said, open-minded society.
Yes.
Yeah? So they can capture whatever in the internet and suddenly become a hit
I
or
see.
trend.
Okay.
So when I asked also why Viking,
Yes.
nobody answered this. This like it
Did
Viking.
the Vikings come this far south? But I know the Minnesota Vikings in their NFL, but I couldn't work out the link.
We are, believe it or not, one of the biggest number of fan-based soccer. Almost 40 million. So last week there is a survey in the internet. Who is the best football club in the world?
Yes.
And person number one.
My driver was saying that.
Because
We
it's
don't know
online
why.
voting and we are very militant in voting.
So
online.
everyone sort of voted for this.
Barcelona number 2, Persib number 1. So when it comes to number, Indonesian people very strong.
Well, hopefully they will resolve all the football problems in Indonesia so they can get back.
You can tell us what you've been talking with Mr. London.
Oh, I've been waiting a long time to come and visit Bandung because I've heard so many outstanding reports, not only about the city and what is happening here, but I wanted to go and meet the individual who's been responsible for this transformation of Bandung into a world-leading city, a smart city, a city that is dynamic, innovative and creative. At the same time, I came with the pleasure to offer and advise the Mayor that my Prime Minister of New Zealand wishes to bestow on the Mayor a fellowship to visit New Zealand in 2016 because we're impressed with what we've seen and we would like to have closer relationships between creative, innovative individuals and cities like Bandung and the Mayor and with New Zealand. So a very simple message is that we're impressed, we want to develop closer relations and we want to both learn from what is happening in Bandung and also maybe contribute in a small way to the continuing growth, development and creativity of this wonderful city, which has a long history, but I think has an outstanding future under the leadership of the Mayor.
Any specific project or specific proposed to...
Not at this stage. The sense would be that once the Mayor can visit New Zealand, we would be in a better position to ascertain what projects might be created. So exposing the Mayor to New Zealand creative thinkers, to New Zealand institutions and New Zealand business, they will understand in a much better directly from the Mayor what is happening here, what is evolving in Bandung, and then we have opened the door for them to hopefully follow through and develop closer links. But I can already see that there are prospects here for improved and increased collaboration in the education sector, in the information technology sector, in the creative sector. You know, we're very proud of what New Zealand has achieved with Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and many other famous things that we're doing. But we're also really impressed with what we're seeing emerging in Bandung. And if we can put our minds together, anything it would be possible to go forward.
Ya, dari saya, pertama Pak Duta Besar datang sudah lama menyampaikan berita baik. Saya dapat penghargaan yang namanya Prime Minister Fellowship gitu ya. Jadi kira-kira susah cari bahasa Indonesianya ya. Kayak ya award lah, pokoknya award atas kepemimpinan. Award di bidang kepemimpinan tidak sembarangan, itu dari Perdana Menteri New Zealand. Oleh karena itu diundang ke New Zealand mungkin di awal tahun depan, kemudian diminta menjadi pembuka hubungan diplomatik yang lebih baik antara New Zealand dan Indonesia. Karena orang New Zealand tadi diskusi dengan Pak Duta Besar nggak apal Indonesia secara umum dan kebanyakan berita-berita jelek aja tentang terorisme, tentang kebakaran hutan, tentang lain-lain. Nah mungkin tugas saya menunjukkan bahwa saya generasi baru kepemimpinan di Indonesia yang bisa berdialog tentang hal-hal baik di Indonesia melalui Bandung, dan saya tawarkan Bandung jadi pintu gerbang untuk bisnisnya New Zealand di Indonesia dan sebaliknya, karena kita punya kelas menengah kan 60 juta ya, dalam 15 tahun akan naik 100 juta, jadi kalau bisa berbisnis apapun bisa menggunakan kota Bandung. Saya kira itu yang menjadi pokok ininya. Jadi alhamdulillah dapat apresiasi.
Pak, kalau Presiden Award itu salah satunya
Prime Minister.
pertimbangan poin-poinnya itu salah
Why I got the Prime Minister Fellowship? They asked. What's the criteria?
The criteria is that the New Zealand Prime Minister, this year is the 40th anniversary of New Zealand and ASEAN links. In 1975, New Zealand and ASEAN developed a memorandum of understanding, and now it's 40 years since that establishment of those relationships. As part of that 40th anniversary, my Prime Minister wanted to establish fellowships for one individual from each ASEAN country. And he asked that the first fellowships be from Malaysia, who's currently the chair of ASEAN, from Laos, who will be the chair of ASEAN next year, and from the biggest economy in ASEAN, Indonesia. When we looked at individuals in Indonesia who could be inspirational leaders, who are people that got the right foresight, my Prime Minister wanted people for me to nominate an individual who really could represent not just his city, but his country in a way that would resonate with New Zealanders, that would be not just looking backwards, but looking forward. What would Indonesia and Bandung be like in the next 20 years? And it was an easy decision that when we look through to see who is the most talented mayor in all of Indonesia, then the mayor of Bandung was the individual that came really to my mind, and my Prime Minister agreed.
How many Indonesians that already received the fellowship, or
The mayor will be the very
first?
first recipient. So we're starting very high. He's setting a standard that's going to be so high. I don't know what we're going to do in the following year.
I make a system.
Yes. And of course, I had to congratulate the mayor on the wonderful victory perceived for the President's Cup. Also the first President's Cup. So the first President's Cup and the first fellowship for to New Zealand. So Bandung is becoming first in so many things. So I don't know what's going to be first again. So it's
The best
exciting to
performing
me.
bureaucracy next month.
First performing bureaucracy next month award. So, Bandung seems to be on a roll, is winning so many admirers, not just within Indonesia, but it's come to the notice of countries all around the world, and even my country. And we're really impressed with what is happening here. And one of the reasons we want to understand what is happening.
That's
what is
also
developing.
because the contribution from this media. They always report inspirational news.
Really?
Yeah, so that's good.
They must be very smart, media. Very talented, good looking too.
Maybe if there is opportunity, can we bring media also to
I think there would
So
be an
we can
opportunity to
report
do that.
and give some perspective?
We actually
for
have a
Bandung people?
We actually have a program where we have exchange of media between each country. And
It
we
already
took
exists.
Already exists. So
Can I nominate Bandung Media?
why don't you do that? And if you
Alright,
have some
alright,
time, please do that, and we will do it under our Asia New Zealand.
Udah bisa bahasa Inggris lah.
Bisa Pak.
They can learn.
Cuma
They can
grogi
learn.
aja kalau nanya.
And I have to learn bahasa Indonesia sedikit.
Oke.
Terima kasih.
Antar dulu ya.
Well,
Antar dulu, antar.
thank you, sir.
No, thank you very much.
Give me Mr. Ambassador.
No, thank you very much.
Atur nuhun, thank you. Madam,
I can see the building that you're doing here is it's reconstructing in the same style.
yes, we need more space. This looks like a bit.
I agree. Actually, you could build offices in it. My car is over here, so it's beautiful, this little area. I like it. It's very rare in Jakarta to even see greenery and places like this. Flowers.
And the weather also is always like this, all year round.
I was shocked by going to North Sulawesi and Tomahawk. They had all the beautiful flowers and plants.